Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're doing the Crochet Shadow Shells hat. I think this one has a potential to be really popular. It's really quite easy to do. It's done in two stages. We're going to make the brim and then we're going to finish off with the top. You'll need two sizes of crochet hooks today. A 5mm size H and a 6mm size J crochet hook. The yarn of choice today is the Patons Alpaca Blend. This is a beautiful soft yarn and it will really work up quite nicely. I've done a sample and we're gonna go through step by step on making this hat today. In preparation to make this tutorial I wanted to do one complete hat all together just to make sure I understood the pattern. So we're gonna do the brim separately and then once we have the brim done we're then going to add the topping of this. This is really super easy to be able to follow, and because we're gonna be changing hooks so we're gonna use a 5mm size H for the brim and then a 6mm size J for the top. So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna repeat the pattern a set number of times and then we're gonna then start bringing it in near the top. You can see that it's really quite fabulous. Now you're seeing that there's two different colors. What I want to show you here is that we're not actually trimming our yarn in between. We're just carrying it up on the inside of the hat. So if I just flip it on the inside you can see where I've carried the yarn, as you can see. So it's really quite easy to do and I think it's really quite fabulous. There is no diagram today so you're just gonna have to follow step by step, but really truly it's a very easy hat to be able to master. So let's begin to work on this hat together. So let's go over our first goal. Our first goal is to get this brim done. Now if you want to change the sizing of this, for example this is for an adult, but if you want to tighten it up a little bit you can try on this brim at any point. So it says to go to 22 inches for the length and that means that it's stretched slightly as well. But if you would like to go a little bit shorter you can actually, because the way that we're going to apply the topping of this hat is that you can squeeze in some extra stitches if you need to. So you'll have to make that decision. So when it gets to about 20 inches maybe just try it on. Just wrap it around your head, see if it works for you, and if it's a little too tight then just give it some more rows, and if it's a little too loose then you know you can just adjust and then finish it there and then you can begin the next stage. So this is going to be using single crochet in the back loop only to create the ribbing, and when you do this kind of idea it gives it the elasticity that you love in hats. So without further ado let's get started. I'm going to be using a different color yarn and then I'm gonna be bringing back this sample at the end of this part of the project and then we're gonna finish this and then continue then into the top of the hat. So let's begin to do the brim of the hat. You can just leave an extra long yarn tail if you wish, just to make sure that you can secure it in later. Use a 5mm size H for your brim so it's a smaller hook of the two. You're going to chain a total of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And you're thinking to yourself, wow that's really quite big, but it is going to shrink so you just gotta put trust in that. Second chain from the hook, so just count it back. 1, go to the second, get the back loop only of the chain. So back loop only and single crochet in the back loop going all the way back to the very beginning. So the goal is that once we get this particular row done we're gonna be working the back loops only for the remaining of the project until you get to 22 inches. Okay, so let's just pull that. So there you go. So now the remaining of the rows for this whole thing are as follows. I would chain 1. Well, what you need to do is chain 1 and then going into the back loop only. So if you're new to crochet there's 2 strands and if you go into both of those strands then that's considered a stitch. You go in the strand closest to you, that is the front loop, and if you go into the strand away from you it is the back loop. So starting in the very first one, the back loop only, so just going right, diving in and then just back loop only, single crochet all the way across. So then you're just at the end of that gonna turn your work and then back loop single crochet then for the next one and so on until you get to the length that you need. So when you get to the end just chain 1 and then go into the back loop and so forth. So please do that now until you get to your 22 inches and then I will see you at the end of that, and do not fasten off, just stick with me and then we will do the final row together. So the one I already showed you was already at the 22 inch mark, and what I want to do is that I want to do the final row. So you're just gonna turn it in a way that it begins to form just like that. So there's no weird twist to it. Make sure it's lying nice and flat. And then what we're going to do is just chain 1 and single crochet using the back loop of this one, but then get the next stitch available on the beginning one and go right into its stitch. Don't go into a back loop and just single crochet. So then go into the back loop of this one and then regular stitch of the other one, and you're gonna move all the way down. So essentially you're putting this brim together as a one-piece unit. So you're gonna come right to the end and watch what I do. This creates a raised bump because of the way you did it. Okay, do you see it? So what I want you to do is that when you start the next one, flip it inside out, and therefore is the way it should look. And what we're going to do is use our tapestry needle. So the ends that we have currently, use your tapestry needle, and I want you to weave in this end, get it out of the way so that you don't need to worry about it. And what we're going to do is that we're going to use the main color that we just did. Just getting it out of the way. We're gonna use the main color and go around for a set number of stitches. And I'm gonna show you a little trick that I would do if I were you and you were me. So let's do our trick first, and then I want you to grab a spare piece of yarn, could be anything, and just grab a spare piece of yarn, and we are going to use that as a stitch marker. So let's do that next. What I want you to do, this is not in the instructions, this is because of experience. I want you to fold it in half so that the seam line is on the edge here, and I want you just to go over here and go right to the very end and put that other strand in there. So that will represent the halfway mark, because the next stitches that we're going to apply is a guess. So we need to get a total of 64 stitches all the way around. So it's pretty much a guesswork. So what you do by doing this is that you can say 1 to 32, so squeeze 32 stitches here, and then once you get there you should be around the 32 mark here, and then when you come back around the other part you've got 32 stitches here, giving you your 64. You're also now going to switch your crochet hook please to a 6mm size J in order to continue, and let's begin to do the next part of this process. So let's begin to do round number 1 using the same color 6mm size J crochet hook. Chain up 1, and I want you to squeeze in 32 single crochets between here and that stitch marker. So that was 1, and just kind of rough it out. So just going 2, 3, 4, you're just going along the side, 5, 31, and 32. 32 takes me right to the stitch marker. Do you see how I just kind of eyed that out? It's not a miracle, it's just a matter of practical planning. So now I need to get another 32 stitches to go between this point and to where we had started. So let's begin again. So just start again at 1. So 1, 2, 30, and I got 2 stitches left, 31 and 32. And this is where I started. So then I just join with the slip stitch. But when I go to join this now, I'm going to get my secondary color, so don't finish this, and let's get that next color out. Get your secondary color, make a slip knot first, and then use that to finish this stitch. So don't get rid of the gray, just leave the gray in behind and just finish this using the purple so that you know exactly how to start your next round. So the next round we're going to establish all those shells. I'm gonna take you back to the actual sample and let's talk about that. So here in the sample we're going to then work our way around, and we're going to establish these shells work and the single crochets in order to get it in balance. Once you get this round, everything pretty much falls in line with the remaining of it. There should be, and this is the way that it was gonna work out, that you have to measure 7.5 inches before you start the decrease in the top of the hat. Here's the trick. There is a total of 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to repeat the set of instructions 5 times in order to get this, and then you're gonna do the reduction of that. So let's begin to do this section right here, getting it established. So let's begin with the purple. We're gonna chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet in the same one that you did the join to, right there. Now we're going to create these shells. In order to do that, you're going to chain 1 first, and then you're going to skip a total of 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and go to the 4th, and I want you to put it in a shell work. So we've already got 1 chain 1 already before we start that. That makes a difference because that'll make, you'll see the why later. So you're gonna do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet again, chain 1, and double crochet again. And when you finish that, you're gonna chain 1, and then you're going to skip the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th and single crochet. So we're gonna repeat that going around. So you're gonna chain 1 before you begin, you're going to skip to the 4th and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, and finish it with a chain 1. then jump over 3, go to the 4th, single crochet. I'm gonna show you one more time. So chain 1 to begin, skip to the 4th, and just do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 to finish, skipping over to the 4th, single crochet. Please do that same idea going all the way around to get it started. So soon you'll come to the very end and you will finish off the final shelling going in. This is called a shell. They've called that in the pattern. And you just continue to repeat what you know, and you're gonna finish with a chain 1, and then you're going to slip stitch to the single crochet that you started with. Now here's the thing, you have to drop that and now grab the gray back up and finish that slip stitch with the gray to get it ready for the next one, and pull everything nice and tight. So you see it's a little loose, just pull everything nice and tight, and then we're going to begin the next round. And the next round, these rounds are really quite easy, the next one. So let's begin to do that next. So let's begin round number 2. We're going to chain up 1, and you are going to single crochet in the same one that you did the attaching to, so in the same single crochet. Now you're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and jump to the next single crochet on the other side of the shell and just go into that one. Don't worry, everything is gonna work out. So this here will be attached to the shell in the next round that we're gonna do. So chain 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then come to the next single crochet on the other side of the next shell. Please do that all the way around for round number 2. So I'm finishing up this round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I want to attach it to the next one here. So to the beginning single crochet. Now because I'm gonna jump back to the purple, I wanna drop that, get the purple back up, and pull that one through as my final slip stitch. So that completes off round number 2. So let's start off round number 3. So round number 3, because of where we are, the next set of shells fall in between these two sets. So the next set of shells here is gonna be here. Okay, so they're not on top of each other initially. So you're going to chain a total of 4. So that's gonna count as a double crochet, chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet, and 4th is your chain 1 space. And in the same one you want to double crochet back in, chain 1, and double crochet back in. This is like the shells that you did before, so you have to chain 1 before you go, and now you're going to go immediately to the next one here, and it's the center one, and you are going to single crochet into that same one, but put that one, the other one, right on top so it gets stuck underneath, and single crochet. Do you see that? So let's begin the next shell. So you're gonna chain up 1, and you're gonna come to this one right here, and you're going to do a shell work. So you're gonna do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then you immediately come to the next shell. It's the middle one, and you're going to come into this one, leave this piece on top, and single crochet right around it. So please do that all the way around. Let's just review one more time. So chain up 1, come to the next single crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet in the middle one of this shell, keeping the gray on top so it gets stuck underneath. Please do that all the way around for round number 3. When you get all the way back around, you're just gonna do your very final one here. Okay, and then chain 1, and you are going to attach to the 3rd chain up of the beginning. Now remember that we are in a position, so let's just slip stitch it, and normally you would say, why are you slip stitching? Because you shouldn't. The reason why we're slip stitching is that we have to get ourselves to here in order to get the gray to go back up. We can't start the gray here because it doesn't make sense to, because the gray, you recall, is just a chain work going right up over top of these shells. So just begin to slip stitch nice and taut, but not to the point where it's looking obvious, and you're going to slip stitch yourself all the way to this single crochet. So you get there, and then you drop it and then pull the gray. So the gray is gonna work up on an angle on the inside, and then you're gonna finish this with the gray to begin the gray. So as I told you, there is a total of 5 of these. So you have 1, 2, so we had 3, 4, 5, so we had 3 more missing. So we're gonna start our next gray, so just chain up 1, single crochet in the same one, and then chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just jump right over and go into the next single crochet on the other side of the shell, and single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just jumping to the other single crochet on the other side of the next shell. Please do that all the way around, and we're looking pretty good at this moment. So when you get all the way back around, you change 7, and we are gonna go into the first single crochet, and then you're just going to grab the purple. So it's only when you start these chain 7 spots is that you have to move yourself over. So when you're doing these shells, you have to move yourself over. So here's the thing. I thought that the original hat that I did was a little, I had an extra one here at the top. You need to do 5 in order to get to the dimensions. So if you would like to make the hat more shorter, then just eliminate one of these rounds out. So just eliminate a shell and one of these. So in order to move up to the top of the hat, you have to finish so that you have a chain 7 as your last round. So in the pattern it will tell you to get to certain dimensions, which are 5 of these. So 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. So if you would like to make it smaller, only do 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make sure that you end on a chain 7. So right at this moment you already know how to start again. So you just start again at just chaining 4. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet, 4th is your chain 1, and then you just make another shell. So your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then chain 1, and then just come into the middle of the next shell that's available to you. So just single crochet going right up over top of that chain 7 to trap it, and then chain 1, and then start your next shell in the next single crochet. So what I want you to do is that I want you to either do what it's suggesting for the sizing. If you'd like to change the size, just make sure that you end on a chain 7 as your final stitch. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the rest of this for you. Make sure that when you finish these particular shells, when you come back around, is that you are going to have to slip stitch yourself to the first single crochet that's available to you after it. So that's the only thing, and that's why you see that in the pattern, is that the yarn is gonna carry up on an angle like this for the one color. So continue to do that, and I'll see you at the end of this section, and then we're gonna start shaping the top. So when I last left you, we were down here, and you can see that there is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you have to end with the chain 7. So if you want to make this hat shorter, don't do 5, just do 4, and etc. So that's how you would do it. So now we're going to begin to shape the top. So there are 8 rounds in order to bring it to a conclusion at the top, and we're going to start off then with this main color. So what we're going to do is that we're starting to eliminate the spacing in between these shell work that we were doing. So we're just gonna immediately just chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that counts as a double crochet, and you're gonna put 2 more double crochets in the same one. So we're gonna go 1 and 2, and you're still gonna chain 1, and you're gonna single crochet in the middle of the next shell going up over top of the gray. So chain 1, and then in the next single crochet you're just gonna put 3 double crochets. So you're no longer putting spaces between them. And then after you get that done, chain 1, and then single crochet into the middle one of the next shell, covering up over top of the gray. Please do that all the way around for round number 1 for shaping the top. When you get all the way back around, you're single crocheting in the final, and then you're chaining 1, and then going to attach to the top of the first double crochet. So we're technically in the wrong spot like we normally would be when we're finishing, so we have to get ourselves to the next single crochet. So just nicely slip your stitch your way over there first, and then we're going to begin the gray again, and the gray is gonna slightly change. So going into that single crochet, dropping it, and getting that gray back up and pulling that through. So second round, we're now going to work on this chain work that you have, but it's gonna be slightly different. So you're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet in the same one, and this time there's only 5. So before we were always doing 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jump to the next single crochet on the other side of the next shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to the next single crochet on the other side of the next shell. Please do that all the way around for round number 2. Coming up all the way back around, I'm just going to go to the first single crochet, drop it, get the purple back up, and let's go for round number 3. So it's gonna get faster and faster as you start eliminating out stitches. So let's begin round number 3. You're gonna chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That counts as a double crochet and chain 1, and you're going to double crochet back into the same one. So last time we were doing 3, right, this time it's only 1, and then there's gonna be a space and then a next one. Then you continue along like you already know, so you're gonna chain up 1 and you're gonna come into the middle of the next 3 here, and you're going to single crochet, chain 1, and so you come into the next single crochet and you're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then come to the middle of the next one down here. So please do that all the way around for round number 3. So just chain up 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet in the one below. Please do that all the way around round number 3. So I'm coming back around and I am just going to get myself to the middle of the grouping of 3, chain 1, and I'm going to go to the third one up. So like before, I'm in the wrong spot to begin the next round, so I'm just gonna slip my stitch my way to the next single crochet. So just nicely do it, and then go into that single crochet, drop it, and get your gray back up if you're using gray. So now this round, round number 4, chain up 1, single crochet in the same one, and then you were going to then chain only 3. So 1, 2, 3, and come to the next single crochet on the other side of the next shell. So 1, 2, 3, come to the next single crochet. Please do that all the way around for round number 4. So coming up to the end of round number 4, chain 3 and then just slip stitch to the beginning single crochet, drop it, and get your purple back up. So number 5. So let's begin round number 5. You're gonna chain 2. Does not count as a half double crochet, but you're going to half double crochet one more time into there. Now you're gonna chain up 1, and then the space in between the 2 double crochets below is where you're going to go, and you're gonna single crochet, chain up 1, and then in the next single crochet you're gonna apply 2 halves. So 1 and 2, chain 1, and then the space in between the next 2 double crochets is where you're gonna go for a single crochet, trapping in that gray as always. So chain up 1, and then in the next single crochet 2 halves. Please do that all the way around for round number 5. Coming up all the way around on the end of number 5, just single crocheting in, chain up 1, and then just go to the top of the first half double crochet. Now we're in the wrong spot to begin as always, so you're just gonna slip stitch over to the first single crochet, and then you're gonna drop it and then bring back your gray. Now that we're attached then for round number 6, it starts off really kind of unusual, and it will make sense. You just gotta trust in it. So you gotta chain up 1 and you gotta single crochet in the same one as the space. Now it says to chain 1 and single crochet in the next single crochet. Okay, so then it's on the other side of this, like so. Now this is where it changes, and the reason why it's doing like this is that you have to get to a certain stitch count in order for it to work out for round number 7. So what we need to do then at this particular point is that you're going to chain up 1, skip the next, chain 1, and half double crochet, so this one and this one, and you're gonna come to the next one. So single crochet into the second half double crochet, like so, and then chain 1 and single crochet into the next single crochet. So the repeat pattern then going around then is chain 1, and you skip the next half double crochet, go to the second one over, chain 1, and single crochet again, and then single crochet in the next single crochet. So chain 1, go to the second one, and then go to the next single. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, what was the difference in the beginning? By skipping over something extra like we did, we actually eliminated one extra stitch that we needed to get rid of out so that we can keep the pattern in balance. So you're just essentially going all the way around with this particular motion. So it's how we started was slightly different. I was thinking for a moment when I was doing the pattern review that I thought it was gonna be an error, and it wasn't. It's just the way that the stitch counts work. And then once you get all the way back around, chain 1 and join to the first single crochet like so. You are now technically done this color. So what you can just do is just drop it out of the way and then get your purple back up, and for 7 and 8 we are going to be using that main color. And you can trim this yarn out now and just leave it extra long so that you can weave it in with the tail later. And we're going to finish off the final 2 rounds together using the purple. For round number 7 you're only gonna play in the single crochets only. You're gonna skip right over the chain 1 spaces. So you're gonna chain up one single crochet in the first one, and then go to the next single crochet and single crochet into that one, and then the next single crochet. So jumping over the chain 1 spaces, and you're bringing this all quite narrow. So just 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets going all the way around for round number 7. So I'm in the last single crochet, so I'm just going to join it to the first one, and then let's do our final round together. So you're gonna chain up 1, and you are going to put 2 together all the way around. So just going into the first one, pull through, next one, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3. So put the next 2 together. So in, pull through, next one, pull through all 3, and keep doing that all the way around. And you come all the way around, put your final 2 together, and then that's it. So you're just gonna join it to the first one, and you are left with the hole. So what we're going to do is leave an extra long yarn strand here, and you're just gonna pull that yarn through the loop. And now you're gonna use a tapestry needle and get rid of that. So how we're gonna do that is that we're going to put this strand on to a tapestry needle, and we're gonna collect all the remaining loops that are left on. I like to pull usually at the end, but in this case because of this yarn I would think about pulling probably halfway through. This yarn because it has alpaca in it, the fibers like to grab onto each other, which gives it the beautiful texture and the stitch definition. So about halfway through just pull, and then just finish off the other side of it. Usually I always wait to the end. Now once you're all the way through just pull, and that will give everything nice and shut, and then just weave in your ends here at the top. So just once you get that done, pull nice, and then just jam the needle into the inside of the hat, and let's turn this hat inside out. Let me back out the camera. Okay, so this is the inside, so I'm gonna tie a slate knot onto this yarn so it stays on the inside. So what is left to be fastened in? We still have that gray yarn that we had that we just kind of tucked on the inside. We still have that to get rid of. We also have the starting strand of this purple. So any strands that you will do, you would just weave your ends in and out 3 times in order to secure it in. So the gray, just kind of keeping it to this side. 1, 2, and 3, and any other loose ends that you'll find. So what I'm gonna do is I'll be right back. I'm just gonna finalize the final ones in and then that's it for today's project. So here we are, my sample that I started to make sure I understood the pattern, and today's sample here on camera, and you can see they're exactly about the same size, and this has been quite awesome. So this is the Crochet Shadow Shells hat by Yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy this free pattern, and we hope to see your creativity online really soon.